you to the West Coast, and who have you been meeting with?
So I've been a frequent visitor to the Silicon Valley probably over now 40 years. I'm on the board of Unity. You spoke about games. Actually, a lot of the games that you're talking about are powered by Unity. Right. It was merged with one of our portfolio companies. I have several portfolio companies. We have a big conference here. A lot of the relationships. So I'm a frequent visitor to Silicon Valley and this area.
In the context of the Israel-Hamas war and what is happening in your homeland, home country, what are the conversations that you are having right now?
So we are overwhelmed with the amount of support. You know, Israel was viciously attacked on October 7th by a terrorist organization which is really very close to ISIS. And we had over 1,000 civilians slaughtered. And we're getting a lot of really amazing support from everybody that we talk to. In the tech ecosystem, I must say, even with the Western leadership, yes, we are seeing some pro-Palestinian demonstration in London and in other areas, but they're mostly, I think, by people who are not aware of the situation. This has nothing to do with Israel and Palestine. This has to do with radical terror, Islamist terror. And Israel has launched this war as a defense. Just a few hours ago, I spoke with my wife. We had missiles shot on Tel Aviv. She had to go to shelter and then come out. This has been our reality, and Israel has really no choice but to go out. And with all the heartbreaking news that are coming out of Gaza, we need to defend our country, and we need to eliminate this risk and to remove Hamas so that they cannot really anymore threaten our country.
Shlomo, of course, Hamas is a designated terrorist organization by the US and the EU, but we move aside from what protests people are at, or flags they're flying, or religions they're from, to really focus on what is being built from a technology perspective. We've spoken to those that have funded Palestinian companies built in Gaza, and we've also spoken to those who are building in Israel. And of course, Israel so focused from a GDP perspective on the economy of technology, the startups. It's interesting to note that what is about $100 million in a publicly funded agency money is going to be rolled out this month, we understand, by the Israel Innovation Authority. But if you're going to get that grant, if you're going to be able to access that $100 million, you have to basically be getting matching funds from the private sector. How willing are VCs, how willing is the private sector to invest in the startup community in Israel right now?
So, the tech ecosystem in Israel is really second only to the United States. We are, for example, the third largest ecosystem that invests in generative AI. The investors that are investing in Israel are used to the fact that Israel does have a conflict and we live in a very complicated area. We have seen continued support of Israeli tech. We've seen two recent acquisition by Palo Alto Securities of Israeli companies for over $1 billion just 2 weeks ago. We are seeing investment. Obviously, the fact that people don't come to Israel, don't go out of Israel as frequently does slow down. But Israeli companies are very resilient. We just ran a very big campaign on NASDAQ, and we had like a big billboard on the Times Square saying, we deliver no matter what. Israeli companies are very used to this situation. But even the investors, I must say, are continuing to invest. We just completed 2 investments in the last 2 weeks. We are doing joint investments with our U.S. colleagues. Even our Emirati investors are continuing to invest. So I think there is some disruption, obviously, but I'm not really worried about it. And by the way, the $100 million is a very small part of the Israeli tech ecosystem investment. We are running about $6 billion of investments a year, and I expect actually this would be very close to that annual number.
Well said, because to that point, what was about $5.5 billion was raised last year alone by the tech ecosystem in Israel. $100 million seems barely anything. Should the government, should these sorts of Israel innovation authorities be doing more to help incentivize private money, or is that not necessary?
I don't think it is necessary. I think I don't believe in government subsidizing investments in technology. I think that $100 million is a very important plan, but it's only directed to very young companies who don't have enough private sector funding. It's a small portion. We ourselves are managing billions of dollars, much more than what the government can do. And I don't think that I think the government would need to allow the conditions for Israeli tech ecosystem to continue and thrive by supporting things like education, university, research, etc. But the private sector in Israel is extremely strong, and I don't think we are dependent so much on the Israeli government.
When the Israel-Hamas war started, one of the things that Caroline and I discussed in the program was the workforce. Intel, Nvidia, Microsoft, Google have many employees there away from the private startup ecosystem.
Correct.
Mobileye is Israel's most valuable company by market cap, which
Correct.
not tech company.
Right.
What is going to be the technology story for Israel going forward, thematically or in a specialized discipline?
So I think, Israel has been very agile in the way when you look at innovation cycles, and I've been here around for a long time. We had the cellular, we had the internet, then we had the mobile social cloud. Now, obviously, the new innovation cycle, the most exciting cycle is AI. Israel is in the front in AI investments, over $3 billion only in generative AI startups in the last 3 years, second only to the US and China, although in China you never really know what the real numbers are. I think AI will drive innovation. When you think about Mobileye, all of the Mobileye value that was created by my dear friend Amnon Shashua was based on AI abilities to understand visual pictures and process billions of data points in nanoseconds and make very intelligent decisions. So I think AI will be the main driving force. I think enterprise IT innovation is going to be very important. A lot of the innovation we've seen to date has to do with consumer. When you think about mobile, social, and cloud, this has all evolved around the consumer life. I think it's time that we see construction, agriculture, automotive, aerospace going through the same type of innovation that we saw in consumer. And I'm sure Israel will lead the way.